We have got that clip. Let's play that. I'll tell you what.
Could they have?
Let's play that. Julie, hang on, Julie. I want to play that.
I know why he wants to play that clip. It's so hard that these two are playing from such a, like, this is a losing position.
And when it doesn't work,
see, they give the whole game away here.
She's on camera. You're delusional.
How do you fight against this? It's control of the media environment. Piers is allowing this to go on as it is, right? None of these people are ever held to account for a particular opinion. The only people who are being pushed on here, right, to flesh out every part of their opinion are the two liberals, and they're being pushed and pushed and pushed to like flesh out and justify and walk through everything, while these two guys on the side can scream and shout like animals, and Piers can continue to just like needle this side. Winning in an environment like this is basically impossible.
To give people blanket immunity against any possible crimes they committed for many years, I think is outrageous, don't you?
Piers, I think that if you're not looking at it in the context of why it's being done, then you're just ignoring reality here. The reason that Biden has to consider preemptive pardons for people like Adam Schiff and Liz Cheney is because Donald Trump is storming into office by assembling a Justice Department and folks around him in the legal community who have promised to enact Donald Trump's retribution.
But what if they've committed crimes?
He's doing it.
What if
Let's not
they've
pretend that
committed
it's
crimes?
happening in a vacuum here.
Yeah, but Brian, what if they've committed crimes, genuinely, like Hunter? What if they have committed crimes?
If Adam Schiff has committed crimes, he hasn't. There's no suggestion that he has.
How do you know?
Because how do you know that he has? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Why pardon him?
Why pardon him is because
why
Donald
pardon him
Trump
if he hasn't committed crimes?
Because Donald Trump's FBI director is coming into office with an enemies list. Why wouldn't you?
Oh, you're saying they're going to manufacture crimes against Schiff? Is that what you're saying? You're saying that they're going to manufacture crimes against Schiff? Does that even make sense to you? Does that even make sense to you?
If there were any crimes against Adam Schiff, then they would have brought them up at any point unto this point, but they haven't. And so
then
Donald
why
Trump
pardon him?
knows
Then why
because-
pardon him?
Yeah.
Then why pardon him? Makes no sense. Your logic is totally flawed here. Makes no sense.
It's not flawed. The reason to pardon him.
The reason for the preemptive pardon is that if you don't pardon him preemptively, and there are supposedly things you can go after, then what you do is you get these committees or investigations that drag on for year after year after year, where every time they get another morsel of information that they can like release it or leak it or do a presentation on it, even if no crime was committed. That's the issue. That's the argument for the pardon. Like when you got this, with this stupid chart, this is gonna live rent-free in my brain literally forever. Is it Gomer? Is it Comer? It's Gomer, right? Link me the Twitter video. I should have this on fucking speed dial. Oh my God, the Oversight Committee literally links to a Twitter video. Please kill me. Please kill me.
Didn't make any money in China.
Did you honestly forget this? Hold on, off. Okay. When I took this picture, I had no clue who this guy was, okay? I didn't even know his first name when we were at this event. So this doesn't count as me, okay, hanging out with Jeff or doing any of this stuff, okay? I had no clue, all right? I had no clue who he was when we showed up for this Fresh and Fit episode, okay? When you don't have pardons, then what you do is you allow people to infinitely investigate and then make stupid videos because of shit you've uncovered of stuff like this.
3 weeks. $5 million flowed from a Chinese affiliate of CEF, extorted this associate. Hunter claimed he was sitting with his father and that the Biden network would turn on his associate if he didn't pony up the money. The extortion scheme worked. Days later, $5 million flowed in from a Chinese affiliate of CEFC. Over the following 3 weeks, Biden family members made a series of complicated financial transactions to hide the source of the China money. Here's how that happened. First, Northern International Capital, a Chinese company associated with CEFC, wired $5 million to Hudson West 3, a joint venture established by Hunter Biden and a CEFC associate.
Keep in mind, all of these orgs probably have hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of transactions that are occurring at all points in time. So this is just one of them. And like dozens or hundreds of employees or other owners, but...
Then Hudson West 3 sent $400,000 to an entity owned and controlled by Hunter Biden. Next, Hunter Biden wired $150,000 to Lion Hall Group, a company owned by James and Sarah Biden. Sarah Biden then withdrew $50,000 in cash from Lion Hall Group. Later the same
Notice how they're saying then. Like, where are the dates on all of these transactions?
day, she deposited it into her and James Biden's personal checking account. A few days later, Sarah Biden cut a check to Joe Biden for $40,000. The memo line of the check said loan repayment. Like the payment to Joe from AmeriCorps funds, it's certainly plausible that this payment where James and Sarah used funds from China was indeed a loan payment.
And he doesn't even know what the payment was for. Like, this is the type of shit that you try to avoid. Whereas, Brian, if you're listening, the answer is that a sham investigation can give you infinite morsels of stuff because now you have subpoena power, and now you can compel testimony and deposition, and you can mine for stupid shit like this that aren't crimes, but laid out and presented in such a way you can convince the public of a particular thing just because you have access to this information. Like, that's the reason why you say, fuck it, we're just pardoning these people to just head off all of this autistic fucking investigatory bullshit. And you are completely and totally within a reasonable realm to think that when the guy is literally putting as the head of his FBI a person who has like a enemies list. Are these people literally just lying about these facts, or are they manipulating them? If they're manipulating them, how so? No, it's the thing that I said before about Zizek or whatever, or when Zizek says this. I don't know if there's not, I don't know if... But the problem is you intuitively, you understand that this is true. I just don't know how to make you how to apply it to all the situations in your life. This is just a collection of facts. This doesn't say anything about anything. It's just a collection of facts. You have to draw, like, here's a thing that I could probably say, okay? Dan, okay. I bet this is true. I bet that there is a guy who, who stole money from an organization. We'll call him a thief, maybe even charitable. He deposited that money onto stake. Eddie gets paid out or sells stock in stake. He uses that same money to fund Kick. Kick signs deals with streamers like Destiny, and Destiny pays out co-hosts like Dan. This is a direct link to show you that a thief stealing money from charitable organizations, all of that money, the reason why he's stealing is to ultimately benefit the Jews in Dan. Like, this is just, you have to connect the dots on this. You have to show, at the minimum, you need to show illegal activity on step one. Then you have to show some sort of conspiracy, not in like conspiratorial, but like a plan. You've got to demonstrate that from here to down here. Like, none of this is here. You're just giving me transactions. There's 1,000 or 1,000,000 transactions between all these individuals and companies. What the fuck is the point of this? Is nothing. This is nothing. But that's why you pardon is to prevent this autistic shit from happening.
Sense. Your logic is totally flawed here. Makes no sense.
It's not flawed. The reason to pardon him.
Okay, Julie, let me bring in Julie. If you can answer it, answer it.
I can answer that question because Donald Trump went to meet the press yesterday and said point blank that he thinks that the January 6th committee committed crimes. What crimes? I don't know. Maybe doing their due diligence. Stop. Maybe doing their due diligence oversight.
Well, we have got that clip. Let's play that. I'll tell you what. Let's play that. Julie, hang on.
They have immunity.
Hang on, Julie. I want to play that.
I know why he wants to play that clip, and I don't even know. I don't know which clip he's saying, but I already know what the clip's going to be. I'm going to make a prediction, and then I'm going to be wrong, so that I'm not a pre-watcher. It's going to be a clip of Donald Trump saying he thinks they committed crimes, but he's not going to order his DOJ to go after them. And then Piers is going to say, well, since Donald Trump literally said explicitly he's not going to order the DOJ to go after them, why would it matter what his opinion is on them committing crimes? But who knows? We'll see.
The clip.
So the point here, yes.
Let me play the clip again so we know exactly what you're talking about. We played it early, but we'll play it again.
This was a committee, a big deal. They lied. And what did they do? They deleted and destroyed a whole year and a half worth of testimony. Do you know that I can't get I think those people committed a major crime.
Sir?
And Cheney was behind it.
Well,
and so was Benny Thompson and everybody on that committee.
We're going to...
For what they did,
Yeah.
honestly, they should go to jail.
Oh, yeah. You cut it there. Okay. All right. Good for you.
So what the hell is he talking about? So there's no... So let's just preface this. None of that is true. None of that is true.
Is this true? Was it hard to... No, this has never been substantiated ever. There's this weird baseless claim that Republicans make that a whole bunch of exculpatory evidence was deleted or like hidden by the J6 committee. If that's true, I don't know where it is. I don't know why nobody's come out and presented it or said anything. Who's preventing those people from just coming out and saying like, oh, here's my testimony that would be exculpatory. Here's my testimony that would exonerate. Like, I don't know where these people are. It's just more bullshit lies after more bullshit lies from Republicans.
You know,
just because he says it doesn't make it true.
How do you know? How do
I know? Because I would assume that because his
assumptions are a very dangerous thing when it comes to fact gathering.
It's so hard that these two are playing from such a, like, this is a losing position. Like, you're telling me that the J6 committee deposed people whose testimony would exonerate Trump and his cronies, and then they deleted the depositions and those people haven't come out and said anything? Like, that's so obviously stupid. But even the amount of sentences I've said, like 80% of people have already fallen asleep by the end of that. Whereas he can just say, J6 committee, deleted evidence, Trump innocent. J6, where are the charges? J6, well, there were charges, sorry. Where are the convictions? Because they were thrown out now.
Are you saying that Donald Trump's Justice Department is going to manufacture evidence of crimes, or aren't you? Because if they're not, you have no reason to pardon these people. You're not really answering the question. You're going on a diatribe.
Well, you're not letting me answer. You're not letting me answer.
I feel like she said like 2 sentences. Where's the diatribe? Brian Tyler Cohen is too soft and can't think on his feet fast enough to go against Piers. I totally disagree. I think he generally does a pretty good job. The problem is just it's a hard burden right now to explain his side. There's just like a lot of legalese and stuff here. And on the other side, you can just like repeat these like one-liner retard slogans, and it serves their side more effectively. This is why I'm saying the paradigm needs to change. I don't know how. I don't know if it would even look good, because you should just ask why did Giuliani and Eastman want to be put on the pardon list? Why did they want to be put on the pardon list if they didn't commit any crimes? I would just say, I wonder if they would even just like, I'm not going to answer the question. To answer that, why did Giuliani and Eastman want to be put on the pardon list? Because they both asked for it explicitly. I think there were more that asked for it too, but I know those two did explicitly. Like,
answer, but be concise. I actually want to hear it.
Okay. Well, actually, thank you so much for telling me how to speak.
You're welcome.
Think that Donald Trump just sent a very big message to Pam Bondi as to what he expects. And he expects her to start and to Kash Patel to start investigating these people. Whether they get indicted or not, it doesn't matter. It is expensive. It is
and it doesn't even I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. It's like, it's all so obvious. Like, there is literally precedence for this. When Comey was doing an investigation that Trump didn't like, Donald Trump fired Comey. When Barr wasn't giving him the results that he wanted from his investigations, Donald Trump fired Barr. When Donahue and Rosen weren't doing the investigations or coming up with the answers that he wanted, he tried to fire Rosen and Donahue. Like, there's precedence for all this. Donald Trump, it's not even like a thing you have to guess he could do. He's already literally done all these things. These are just things that he's already done.
Consuming, and it becomes a huge pain in the you-know-what to be investigated by the federal authorities. And that is the message that he is sending.
Like the Russian collusion.
He knows full well that there is nothing that's been destroyed, because had it been destroyed, his lawyers would have filed a motion.
Yeah, but Julie, I would say to you,
they were not in a position where they could investigate this. They were not in a
position where they could file a motion. What do you mean? Go to court, file a motion for it. These are the most litigious, that's a word, right? Motherfuckers in the universe. These guys filed 100 cases on bullshit election stuff. It was all invented and fictional. They couldn't file an actual case.
A position to do that.
I would say to Julie, look, when you weaponize the justice system of the United States of America against
the question then needs to be, I'm sorry, is it the weaponization of the justice system every single time a politician is investigated or indicted? Because you can't keep letting Piers say this bullshit that it was weaponized against Trump. I think, did I ask him this? And he laughed and he said it was, and his answer was, well, it's self-evident that it was. I don't remember what he gave that answer. Like, you need to hear that more. Say that at least. Litigious? Maybe that's the word.
President of the United States. First ever criminal court case we've ever seen involving a president. And it's about shuffling some paperwork over an alleged one-night stand he denies with a porn star 18 years ago. When you render the justice system...
I understand that you're British, and maybe it's different in Bongerland, but this was the state of New York. If you want to take umbrage with the state of New York, then go fight the state of New York. This is not the Department of Justice. It's not the United States federal government, and it's not what is under Biden's purview or Merrick Garland's purview. So I don't know why the fuck you're bringing up the state of New York's charges against Trump. If you want, bring up the Mar-a-Lago case and bring up the January 6th case. But like moving all these things in a way where they all seem like the same thing is just...
To be such a politically motivated farce, and most Americans actually thought that.
Well, not the ones that were on the jury, which are probably the ones that saw the most of it, right? Isn't it strange that you can say that most Americans thought it was bullshit, but a jury of 12 people in New York, right? Jury of 12 people all unanimously agreed that Donald Trump was guilty of the crimes that he was being accused of? Isn't that kind of weird?
You do that as an administration, when you allow that to happen.
An administration that allowed New York, it's New York State. None of this, please, somebody. Brian, you've got this. Brian does law stuff. Brian's got this.
You open up a whole can of worms. You've done it first. You've gone after this guy. You've tried everything you could, however petty, trivial, ridiculous, to try and put him in jail. And when it doesn't work and it actually backfires,
they give the whole game away here. This is why these Republicans are disgusting as fuck. Like, if you could show me that CEO dude voted for Trump, listen, my whole opinion on that thing would change. Okay, listen, this is why they give the whole game away when he says that. Oh, remember. Hold on. I want you to have this in your head, okay? Because I said this before, all right? The reason why Republicans can do anything they want is because they think that Democrats have already done it. That's why. So when you ask them, like, wait, aren't you doing like all this horrible, terrible, illegal shit? They'll be like, well, the Democrats already have, right? So when Donald Trump says that he wants to put a guy in the FBI who has a political hit list of enemies, right? And you're like, well, isn't this like really bad? Like Andrew just said it. Now you reap the whirlwind. He thinks that the Dems have already done all these bad things, so now the Republicans are going to do all these bad things, right? That's exactly what is happening here.
Ridiculous now to try and put him in jail. And when it doesn't work and it actually backfires and it fuels him and he ends up winning big.
So you're talking about a state. So you're talking about
Piers,
by the way, Piers, you're talking about a state. You're talking about a state charge that has nothing to do with Joe Biden. If you're talking about federal investigations,
I'm talking about Democrat-motivated prosecutors.
What do you, bro? It's a different venue. It's a totally different venue. It's not even...
Who were doing their master's lead, right?
I don't know who you're talking about. If you're talking about the Justice Department...
There's no evidence for that whatsoever.
...over which Donald Trump will have authority by appointing an attorney general. I am telling you that what the Justice Department under Joe Biden was investigating is the fact that Donald Trump refused to return classified information that he stored in his bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. It is the fact that he incited a violent riot that effectively harmed and hurt our transfer of power for the first time in our nation's history.
Well, you're now convicting him of all these crimes, which he's not being convicted of.
No, he was charged with those crimes. But now we'll never see that in a courtroom because all those charges are gone now.
I'm not
None of them. The only thing he's being convicted of is shuffling paperwork with a porn star. Let me rephrase. Hang on. Wait, let me rephrase what I was saying. I'm talking about weaponizing the justice system. Let's make it a more all-encompassing.
It's not all-encompassing because you don't know anything about the structure of the United States. It is not an all-encompassing justice system. We have at least 51 distinct jurisdictions in the United States. I don't know what Puerto Rico or like U.S. territories fall under, but every single state has its own criminal justice system. Every single state has its own 3 branches of government, their own state constitutions, their own legal authorities that you have to answer to. And then you have the United States federal government. All of these jurisdictions are distinct.
thing, where you have Democrat slanted prosecutors who just want to jail Trump, even if it's down for shuffling paperwork over a porn star. To me, it was utterly.
Why were they able to get a whole? How many people are on the New York grand jury? Is like 20 people. I don't know if they have to unanimously agree, but a grand jury agreed to the charges. They went through the whole trial process. Jury convicted him. I mean,
ridiculous, that case. And the idea that you then criminally convict.
I don't disagree with that.
But right.
Case.
So my point is, right, I don't think anyone disagrees with it, really. So here's my point: is that
wait, doesn't disagree with what?
Ridiculous, that case. And the idea that you then criminally convict.
I don't disagree with that.
But right.
Case.
So my point is.
Oh, yeah, and then you have to bite the bullet. There's not even a bullet to bite here. That like, oh, this was a politically motivated case.
Agree with
right,
that.
I don't think anyone disagrees with it, really. So here's my point: is that as a Democrat, when you look at this, what's happening now, why wouldn't Trump do this? I mean, he's perfectly entitled to return the favor, isn't he? All's fair in love and politics.
To do what? To do what? Because we have
be equally as aggressive.
Notice how he doesn't answer the question, to be equally as aggressive. But keep in mind, in their world, in their mind, like the worst things ever have already been done by the Democrats.
To be equally as aggressive.
Political targeting.
He has specific crimes with which he was charged. What are the specific crimes with which you want to charge Liz Cheney? That she stood up to Donald Trump?
Well, that's not the point.
That's always the killer question. And it should always be the question you ask. Okay, well, what are the crimes that they committed? There will never be an answer for stuff like that. He has no answer for that. He'll never have an answer, and it's never the point.
Hang on, that's not the point.
As a congressperson?
No, but Julie, the point is, we don't know, because what is being mooted is that there are going to be blanket immunities against any crime that may have been committed, which does, I'm afraid, prompt the question, what are they hiding? Why are you so scared? Yeah. If there's literally nothing there,
well, first
if none
of all,
of
they're
them
not
did
taking
anything
them.
wrong,
Do you see Liz Cheney
why do you
it?
need blanket immunity?
Because you have a Justice Department that was just told in very clear terms by Donald Trump to the people that he's putting in there, whom he considers to be his loyalists, that he believes that these people committed crimes by...
But it doesn't matter. But the thing is, I agree with what she's saying, obviously, but the Republicans think that the Democrats have already done this.
Investigating him. That is what they're looking into. Not that they might have smoked pot back in 1974 in college.
Why would you need a pardon for that,
Not that they might have driven drunk in 1983. For what?
Yeah, but why would you need a pardon for that? It makes no sense. So if Trump, even if Trump is investigating, hang on. Let me ask the question. Even if it were the case that Trump wanted to open an investigation as to whether or not there was foul play during the previous administration's investigations of him, why in the world would this require a pardon to these people? That makes no sense to me.
To prevent somebody from being able to investigate now with subpoena power to dig through your entire life and then to misleadingly present some trail of facts like the Republican House committees have already done in order to attack you in the court of public opinion, since you can never win in criminal court or civil court, which they've already done.
Me at all.
Because why would there be a requirement of a pardon? Because why do these people need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees on dealing with...
You should bring up what I just said. This is a point too. We should just bring up what I said.
BS, which is part of their oversight duties to have done.
We don't know
if
it's BS. We haven't investigated it yet. What are you talking about? So we just can't investigate anybody because it could be bad.
It is part of their...
No, we don't know.
It is part... Listen, do you understand how it works? Have you ever worked on the Hill? Because I can tell you, they have immunity as senators and Congress people to do their oversight responsibilities.
They have civil immunity. I think even judges and prosecutors, I believe, have civil immunity. They don't have criminal immunity though. So I don't believe, or at least I've never heard that before, that they have immunity, criminal immunity. I know they have civil immunity, but...
Well, I thought you just said a second ago that there's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees. Now you're backtracking on that?
Because, of course, you'll have to go, because you're going to...
Oh, the speech and debate clause. Isn't that only when you're on the floor debating, though? Isn't that literally just when you're having debate in the House? Like literally on the floor talking, I thought? They shall in all cases, except treason, felony, and breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the session of their respective houses, and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either house, they shall not be questioned in any other place. Shall not be questioned. That might be, I think that's criminal and civil. but this is for speech or debate in either house. Does this extend to all actions done on committees and everything? I don't know what the ruling is on this, or if this has even been tested before.
Have to go hire lawyers to be able to prove that this was part of their oversight.
I thought you just said
duties.
they had immunity. Like, you can't have it both ways here.
Jesus, do you understand how this works?
Yeah.
You have to get a lawyer to go to court to tell a judge.
Okay, so then
all of this.
So they don't have immunity?
You obviously don't understand how it works. You obviously don't. I'm sorry. Do you not understand what I'm getting here?
No, Andrew has absolutely no legal background and no legal understanding whatsoever. Just because you might have immunity or defense, this might be a privilege that you have to assert pre-trial. So you'd have to hire a lawyer, they would have to look over things, they'd have to find cases, they'd have to do the citations, and then they'd have to file the motion to dismiss that's citing the immunity that you're claiming to have privilege to. Like, depending on how big the case is and how many different ways you're being hit, this could still be a pretty costly procedure. And if you fuck it up, you might be facing, big federal investigations or federal prosecution. So no, Andrew has no idea what he's talking about here.
Julie,
no, I don't understand why these people need to have a pardon.
She needs to, and she or Brian needs to back up. You have to explain from a very, very, very fundamental thing, how the U.S. criminal justice system works. Because I don't know if anybody listening I don't know for the people on this panel, I don't know who knows what is even what is even happening. These people probably just have no idea.
Because they might be investigated for potential crimes they may have committed.
Can I tell you something?
They have nothing to worry about because there were no crimes.
What are the
then
crimes?
Why do you need the pardon? It makes no sense.
Did you hear that? Oh, well, if you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't have to worry about being infinitely investigated. It's crazy that the big free speech guys now, right? They 180 as soon as it's on Trump's side, but it's because it's all part of the show.
Have a pardon because they might be investigated for potential crimes they may have committed.
Can I tell you something?
They have nothing to worry about because there were no crimes.
What are the
then
crimes?
Why do you need the pardon? It makes no sense.
No, but Brian, hang on.
And
don't all talk at once, please. Brian, you say, what are the crimes? That's the point. We don't know, and we may never know.
You're looking for crimes because Donald Trump is looking for crimes because he doesn't like Liz Cheney and the fact that she did oversight.
He genuinely believes she's broken. He genuinely believes she's committed crimes.
Which crime? The name one.
Here's the point. To Julie's exact point, first of all, what crimes? Second of all, it costs money to get legal representation to go prove all of this stuff. And third of all, it's moot because all of these people have immunity anyway. You are allowed to act in your oversight capacity in Congress and the Senate to pass legislation to discuss this stuff.
You didn't care when Trump had to spend on lawyers. You didn't care about that.
But what law was broken? Yeah, you're right. They can't break.
Trump was alleged to have broken specific laws, though. We can point to those laws. They're on his charging documents.
The law, but there was no law that was broken. But it doesn't change the fact.
So why do you need an all-encompassing immunity if you've never broken the law?
Why do you need all-encompassing immunity if there's no laws broken?
I don't know. I don't know.
Let me bring in Vinny.
I don't know if you guys are playing dumb or not, but the fact is,
I don't think it's us playing dumb, Brian.
It costs money to move forward with this.
Okay, I'm actually playing devil's advocate. I'll tell you what, hang on, I'm going to bring Vinny in, but I am playing devil's advocate here because I do think there's a shocking hypocrisy by the Democrats, led by Joe Biden. The whole year they banged on about the rule of law. No one's above the rule of law. And here is President Biden in his last few weeks basically riding roughshod over the rule of law to bail out all his family and all his mates.
You're pretending that it's happening in a vacuum. Piers, you're pretending that it's happening in a vacuum, and not because Donald Trump has come out and said that he's going to use.
I'm saying you reap what you sow, though. You reap what you sow.
But Donald Trump has promised to use his Justice Department as a vehicle to enact his personal retribution toward. That is why it's happening.
All right,
by pretending that there's
Brian. But Brian,
let me bring in
you're
Vinny.
saying good for Brian. Good, because we want Brian. Good for him. If they did illegal shit, then go to jail. You guys are talking all that crap, and you're warning what Trump is going to do to what Biden and his DOJ has done,
already done
this entire 4 years.
This is exactly what I'm saying. This is what 98% of conservatives in the United States believe. This is what you have to understand when you're talking to these things, okay, is that they already think that all of this has happened. In their mind, every single thing that they're accusing the Dems of doing that aren't even things that are up for discussion or on the table, they already believe they've already done. They already think they've already done. This is
what Trump is going to do to what Biden and his DOJ has done this entire 4 years. Are you not seeing it? And
what
if
did
you think
they do?
I'm just feel bad because they're going to have to spend money. Excuse me.
What did they do? Do you think Donald Trump should have stored these documents in Mar-a-Lago?
For them, Julie, spending money on lawyers. How much money have they gutted out of Donald Trump? How many people have suffered for that fake ass crossfire
Zero,
hurricane.
because he had his campaign paid for everything.
Zero,
Russia because people
collusion,
like you sent money
Hillary
into him.
got fined, DNC got fined. You're not going to talk over me.
What? Russia collusion, Hillary and the DNC got fined over...
Let me finish. Thank you. And your whole, he incited an insurrection, it's all bullshit.
Why wasn't he charged with insurrection or incitement?
There was no insurrection. He said, go quiet, go peaceful, don't hurt anybody. It got out of hand, but well.
I like how we add more and more every single time. He didn't say any of those things, by the way. He said, I know you'll be walking peacefully to the Capitol. He didn't say, go quiet, go peaceful, don't hurt anybody. I like how there's like a whole new thing added every single time they bring it up.
He said, go quiet, go peaceful, don't hurt anybody. It got out of hand, but well, the FBI can't even answer. How many FBI agents were on the ground? Ted Cruz asked her in Congress.
Oh my God.
How many of them incited violence? It's all fake.
It's like listening
Nobody
to a
got arrested
Facebook
for
comment
If we're going to go
section.
down the conspiracy rabbit hole, there's no point even talking about this because it's like one person is saying that the Earth is round and somebody else is saying the Earth is flat.
Like, you call it a conspiracy theory, which it is, but like half the country believes in this shit. Yeah. It's so crazy too how they bounce between so many things. There was no violence. The police let them in. We saw Tucker Carlson's video. Nothing was violent about it. It was a peaceful protest. Okay, yeah, well, it was also a super violent insurrection, but it was started by the feds. It was a feds insurrection, or Antifa, actually. It was an Antifa insurrection. The federal agents on the ground and Antifa started a violent insurrection. But also, there were no guns there, right? Remember, there wasn't a single gun. So it actually wasn't violent. There were no guns there whatsoever. It wasn't violent at all. Like, you saw the cops letting them in. There were no guns anywhere. But also, Antifa and the feds started a violent insurrection. But only one person died. So there wasn't even... Like, it's just... it's living in all worlds. At all points in time. There's no... there's not even an attempt to be truthful, right? These are just emotions, right, that are coming out. Yeah, it's just like, how do I feel about this thing? And no matter what, I feel like Donald Trump wasn't wrong in anything. I don't know what happened. Don't care what happened. But Donald Trump definitely wasn't the bad guy there.
There's no point in debating.
All right, don't all talk at once.
Fit your narrative.
You're a flat
Don't all talk at once. Although I would say, Julie, hang on. I would say, Julie, if we're going to go down conspiracy routes, I do remember a 2-year conspiracy being peddled by almost everyone in the American media that Trump had the election fixed by his collusion with Vladimir Putin, which turned out to be horseshit.
That's right.
Turned out to be horseshit. Donald Trump impeded that investigation 50 million different ways. We know that Stone was indicted for communicating directly with Russia. We know that Stone didn't cooperate with any of the investigation. He told everybody to fuck off. He got convicted for it, and then Trump pardoned him. We have no idea where that investigation would have gone to because Donald Trump was trying to impede that investigation at every step. He did it with Jeff Sessions when he got ass pain for Jeff Sessions for recusing himself and not rigging a file. We know when he fired Comey, that was the whole reason why Mueller was appointed as a special investigator, is because Donald Trump fired fucking Comey for not holding the investigation. So, who knows where it would have gone through? We will never know. We'll never know. You want to know what definitely didn't turn up anything, though? The Hillary Clinton email shit, the Hillary Clinton Benghazi shit. Nothing fucking came of that, but we don't hear about that for some reason. At least the Russiagate investigation turned out good indictments about Russian misinformation, which it did, involving the Internet Research Agency, and it made money because we got to see some of the bullshit that Manafort had, that he was lying about, that he'd gotten from Ukraine. So at least it was profitable and we got something from it, more than we got from any of these fucking dogshit investigations that Republicans have wasted how much taxpayer money, time, and news coverage over.
So, it does depend which conspiracy theory you want to hitch
Is
your
that in
home
relation to Robert Mueller's investigation?
I don't recall ever saying that Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump colluded to steal the election. So,
and look at how much ground you have to cover here. How far we're running, and we can just, because the Republicans have done so well at instantiating so many bullshit lies into the media landscape that with just a single word or phrase, you can bring up so much of this shit that now you have to fight so hard to even begin to claw back any amount of truth.
Let's not say that everybody
a lot of people did.
I will say to you,
and the media did fuel that bullshit for 2 years.
Okay, but you're asking me to debate. But Piers, you're asking right now for me to debate somebody who thinks that January 6th was a peaceful protest that got out of hand because the FBI set up these poor MAGA people to go beat up cops.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
Wait, it was? So it was peaceful, or there were cops on the ground inciting it? Which one was it? How are we in both worlds here?
We're going to have that kind of conversation.
They did.
If we're going to have that kind of conversation, stop screaming in my ear, please. If we're going to have that kind of conversation,
hang on.
National
Guard. The Earth is flat.
Why did they not want the National Guard there?
Just for the record.
Why did Stephen Son, the chief of Capitol Police,
National
say
Guard,
that they were requesting They were requesting help, and she denied it. She's on camera. You're delusional, okay?
If you're
I actually thought, hang on.
I'm not interested.
Hang on. I actually thought the most interesting point that Trump made in relation to all that was the different double standard. I thought what happened on January 6th was appalling, and I think that a lot of people pay.
How do you fight against this? It's control of the media environment. Piers is allowing this to go on as it is, right? None of these people are ever held to account for a particular opinion. The only people who are being pushed on here, right, to flesh out every part of their opinion are the two liberals, and they're being pushed and pushed and pushed to like flesh out and justify and walk through everything, while these two guys on the side can scream and shout like animals, and Piers can continue to just like needle this side. But like, I mean, yeah, like you're never winning in an environment like this is basically impossible. You just have to find like snappy things to say, and that's basically it.
Behaved extremely badly, and a lot of them should have gone to prison, which they did. I think maybe it was overdone, and some of them got ridiculously long sentences. But I thought the point that Trump made about the hypocrisy...
Which ones? Who got ridiculously long sentences? Undeserved, ridiculously long... Which ones?
And double standard of how, for example, the BLM rioters were treated with the devastating damage that they caused. I thought it was a very good point. And I think, again...
Wait, you know that people were arrested for stuff like that, right? Wasn't it over like 10,000... How many arrests were there? How many arrests over entire BLM period? By June 22nd, 2020, police had made 14,000 arrests in 49 cities since the protests began. What is the comparison here? What do we even...
And double standard of how, for example, the BLM rioters were treated with the devastating damage that they caused. I thought it was a very good point. And I think, again...
What's the good point? What's the point?
It comes back to the hypocrisy, right? Democrats cheered on the BLM rioters. That was all in the cause of tackling racism. But here you have people who believe they were standing up for democracy.
The difference is, how many of the Democrats, first of all, the Democrats had to disavow that to win their election, right? Biden and Kamala had to come out and say, we disavow the rioters to win their election. Donald Trump and the Republicans still celebrate January 6th. Or, well, they celebrate it, and then they also say they didn't do it at the same time. So there's already a huge difference right there between the two sides, number one. Number two,
the cause of tackling racism.
Democrats at the very least won't deny that the BLM riots happened, right? Republicans don't even acknowledge like the J6 even occurred. Like, what?
But here you have people who believe they were standing up for democracy. I don't agree that they were right. They shouldn't have been doing it. But there was a double. But Julie, hang on, Julie. There was a double standard. There was a double standard in how the different types of protesters got treated. There was.
In what way? Who? Which ones? Also, the BLM riots. You're talking about like hundreds or thousands of riots across like months. Like, what is even the comparison here?
Piers, if you're suggesting that Democrats cheered on BLM rioters,
no.
They gave them entire cities to destroy.
What?
They gave them whole cities to destroy.
Crazies on the left cheered on BLM rioters, and you're saying?
Oh, careful! He's going to bring up that Kamala Harris tweet.
The Democratic Party cheered them on?
Yes.
Really? You're saying that Nancy Pelosi cheered on people who were rioting and looting during the...
The fact that they're going to say that they cheered on the rioters when that, I don't, like, again, they had to disavow them to win the election, number one. And number two, these guys are fully on board with a blanket pardon for the J6ers.
Yes.
They were saying it was a peaceful
that's what I'm saying.
You're delusional.
That was a Kenosha, and it was stupid. That was one CNN reporter. That was nobody, that wasn't a mainstream Democratic person. Like,
yes.
They were saying it was a peaceful
that's what I'm saying.
You're delusional.
Show me where Nancy Pelosi at the time was saying that. Show me where Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi or Kamala Harris or anybody else was saying that.
Too busy getting on her knees.
You know what we need now? You know what we need now? We need a group handshake, and which takes me neatly to the Donald Trump Macron love-in at the Notre Dame reopening. Which, by the way, let's just take a moment to salute the French, who have got a lot of issues right now, but the way they rebuilt Notre Dame, I was there a few months after the fire. I thought it would take 20 years. The fact they've got it back even better than before in 5 years is an amazing feat. I can only compare it that in London, one of our great bridges, Hammersmith Bridge, stopped having cars over it in the same year, 2019, because of cracks in the bridge. And today, it's now at least another 5 years before that bridge will be fixed, which means a minimum of 10 years. They rebuilt Notre Dame in France, and we couldn't get a bridge with cracks in it fixed.
Would you agree with us? Harris did encourage it with saying she'd pay for their legal fees, but that's alternative values, not alternative reality. First of all, Harris retweeted a bail fund. Whether or not somebody's allowed to post bail is at the discretion of a judge. Retweeting a bail fund, I don't think is the same as saying that you support violent rioters. It's not the same thing. It's not. You shouldn't even be allowed to gaslight people into thinking that's the same thing.
In 10 years, I think it's embarrassing for my country. Anyway, that's nothing to do with what I want to talk to you guys about. I want to show a mashup of Trump and Macron.
Does he still try to do that fucking cringe handshake pull? Why are we watching this? God, it feels 1984 in here. I can't tell if he's trying to do this dumb pull thing.
Now, Brian, it's very...
Would you say the same if someone you're debating on the right has retweeted a J6er bail fund? I think that the instigation for the riots on January 6th and the BLM things are different in kind. So I would already be on a different standard. But number two, supporting somebody on bail, I don't even know if I would comment on it or care. I'm not sure. Bail is different. It's just bail. All bail says is that after your arraignment, you can be out of jail before you have to go to court. That's all bail is. It's not forgiving somebody of charges. You don't automatically, it's not an escape jail from free card. It's not like that's all bail is.
Funny on one level, the way they arm wrestle for hours on end when they see each other. However, my point watching it, when I watched Trump go into Notre Dame, every eye was on him. He has superstar power. I saw it myself when he first got elected.
Oh, more glazing.
In Davos, when all the world leaders were down there. The moment Trump came in, it was pandemonium. He is the biggest star on the world stage by a country mile. And there's something about America right now getting its swagger back, which I can tell you, in a country like mine, where it feels like the opposite is happening, a lot of people are like, you know what, whatever you think of Trump, whatever comes out of his mouth, all the usual stuff, I quite like the confidence that America now seems to be exuding. And I wish we had a bit of it here.
Well, Piers, I think if you look at what the rest of the world actually thinks about Donald Trump, the vast majority of them don't view him as some gauzy figure with a lot of swagger. I mean, he has...
Bail is literally bailing out of jail, so you're free to do whatever. Bailing is you posting up collateral so that you don't have to be in jail until your trial. That's what bail is, assuming the judge allows you to even post bail. That's all bail is. It doesn't get you out of jail free. It doesn't get you out of prison. It doesn't let you escape accountability.
Very different now.
Negative. He has negative approval.
It's very different to 2016. I can tell you, it has definitely changed. I don't agree with that reading of it. I've spoken to a few senior politicians in various countries, and they've learned.
You don't support the CEO killer, right? Why not start a bail fund for him? You don't have to support someone to start a bail fund. Why would I start I don't know if I would ever start a bail fund for anybody. What a fucking retarded question. If people want to start a bail fund for him also, I think it's cringe because people aren't trying to bail him out because they think that he's innocent. They're trying to bail him out because they think that killing CEOs is based. But also, if he posts bail and the judge grants it, then it's on bail, whatever. It's part of our legal system. If you want to post bail until you stand trial or whatever, that's part of our system.
And to deal with Trump and accept what he is, good, bad, and ugly. And there is a respect for the leadership that he shows. I mean, if you try and think about Kamala Harris and the kind of leadership she exuded, there's just no comparison. You look at Biden; he can barely,
this is complete.
Biden can't even stay awake.
This is bizarre analysis. But Piers, this is bizarre analysis. This is what you think about Kamala Harris and conversations that you've had with like 2 or 3 people. This doesn't reflect the vast majority of the world. And all of the actual data that we have from the rest of the world in terms of their views on Donald Trump shows the exact opposite.
Okay, let me bring in Andrew on that. I think America has its swagger back. Now, Trump has to deliver, and he knows that. I spoke to him last week, and he knows the challenge ahead of him, but he also knows he's got a chance to really reset his legacy and become a transformative and potentially great president. I think he's got a great chance to do that. It'll be down to him and his team, but I do think that. But I do just think, when I watched him in Notre Dame...
Reset his legacy? Does that mean his legacy right now is really bad, or...?
I was like, you know, he's back and he's swaggering, and America looks like it's got someone in charge who actually does want to make America great again, and people are feeling it.
Yeah, well, I mean, to just listen to the analysis from the lib on the panel, he says immediately, well, yeah, how could he come up with such an analysis based on only talking to 2 or 3 people when the whole world hates this guy? Like, he's talked to the whole world, right?
There's literally polling data from how the world viewed Trump and America. I'm pretty sure like every country but like 2 had a pretty negative view of him, and the United States under Trump's rule. But
suddenly, Piers Morgan's anecdotal evidence isn't good, but his is. He's talked to nobody.
It's not my anecdotal. It's
hang on, man. Hang on. It's not your turn. It's not your turn, Lib. Calm down, Lib. So anyway, listen. It's very, very clear to me.
You are
it's very stop. Pause,
I don't know how you think.
Let me get it out. Can I get it out? Can I get it out before you start?
Go ahead. Hear yourself talk. Go ahead.
So anyway, I'm trying to.
This is in 2020. How people around the world see the U.S. and Donald Trump in 10 charts. This is views of the United States. Generally, people have a favorable view, although barely. Nice. Confidence in U.S. President Trump was down 50 points from Obama. It came up to 31 points in 2019. Many countries, younger people view the U.S. more favorably. The UK had more favorable views of Donald Trump. Almost like he was tied to the Brexit stuff. Or the same sentiment was, but even that was 32%. Trump received the most negative marks among 5 world leaders. His major foreign policies are unpopular globally. I don't know with this idea that everybody loves Trump. It's literally just like you just say whatever. That's it. I just have to keep that in mind. Always remember that. You just say whatever. It's always memes. You just say whatever the fuck. It's all theater. It's all a meme. It's all theater. It's all a meme.
Still talking. So anyway, the point is like, no, of course, there's a lot of swagger to Donald Trump. The American people know that. That's why they overwhelmingly voted for the guy. That's why he got the popular vote. That's why he's winning across the board. I love how important the popular vote is now. Remember what I said before, is that things that didn't matter before, Republicans will always cite them when they're in their favor. That's why I said, like, coming into Donald Trump's presidency. So before, Republicans would say things like, oh, GDP and the markets don't represent the economy. Wait for it over the next 4 years as the economy is rebounding and will continue to rebound, right? As the GDP gets higher, as the markets climb higher, all of a sudden, all these people that said that GDP and the S&P 500, that these indexes don't matter. Now they're going to be citing them like crazy. And you hear it here, right? Remember, Republicans would always say a popular vote doesn't matter. Who cares what people in California think? That's not how our country works. But now, all of a sudden, now the popular vote, we got to bring it up every single time, you know? Voted for the guy. That's why he got the popular vote. That's why he's winning across the board. People overwhelmingly across the globe do actually love this guy. They like watching him.
Says who? Where?
They like listening to him talk. They like hearing his speeches. They enjoy this guy. When you say America's got a swagger back, that's exactly right. Donald Trump represents the don't F with us, America first policy that America has been known in the past for, and that we all
I guess it's all memes. It's all memes. It's all memes. It's all memes. It's even, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just pointing out the memes. Listen to what he's saying. Everybody around the world loves Donald Trump because Donald Trump has an F you America first policy. How does that even make sense? Wouldn't everybody around the world hate Donald Trump? And shouldn't that be good? Shouldn't you want them to hate Donald Trump because he has an America first policy? Like, these two things don't even make sense together. But it's just like, we're emoting here. All of this is like emotivism. You're just saying things that are expressing feelings about how much you love a person, and that's it.
All wanted back.
Julie, I mean, look, I know you've been quite critical of the way the Democrats have conducted their politics this year, but the Democrats desperately need somebody that can have the same effect, galvanizing, energizing effect and unifying effect on the party that Trump's had with the Republicans, given the scale of his win. I mean, it's an utter repudiation of so many things that Democrats thought they had the lead in, and you can't deny it. I mean, the scale of the win is what it is.
Well, let's not go crazy. The scale of his win was actually smaller than Joe Biden's.
Well, hang on. He won the popular vote. If I said he'd win the popular vote, if I said 6 months ago.
Congratulations.
Also, for all you guys that were mad at me making a big deal about the narrative about his assassination and how quickly he stood up. This is why I fight on these little points. It's because Republicans always build a million of these little points up to try to present a broader story. And whenever you try to fight them on any of the little ones, they know how important the little ones are. They won't give them up. They fight on them. But you guys think it's important to just like, oh, well, who cares if he stood up in 2 minutes or if he stood up instantaneously and jumped to his feet and, started screaming the Pledge of Allegiance and say, I dare you to shoot me. Like, who cares? Does it really make the big of a difference? Right? This is a major talking point for them. It's very important in their mind that Trump overwhelmingly won the election. If you push on that at all, they're like, well, he didn't.
6 months ago, Trump,
the popular vote
if I had said to you 6 months ago, Trump will win the popular vote, you'd have laughed in my face.
It's non-responsive, though. It doesn't, whether or not he wins the popular vote, it has nothing to do with the claim that he won, like, overwhelmingly.
He won the popular vote, the Electoral College, the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives.
I would have said,
he won all 5. I mean, if you can't call that a massive win, what is it?
No, I'm not suggesting that Democrats did not royally.
Like, you should just ask, like, did Donald Trump win more or less than 50% of the American public's vote, right? I don't even know if they would answer that question.
Well, can I speak, or do you want to keep interrupting, Flat Earther? Listen, here's the way I look at it. Democrats screwed up. Democrats don't know how to communicate. I've been banging the drum on this since 2015, if not earlier, since Trump came down the escalator. He's a master communicator to his base, and Democrats don't know how to speak to normal people.
No, it's not that Trump is a master communicator. It's that Donald Trump communicates well to people with 85 IQ, like these two are right now. That's the issue. That's why you're being asked to defend the intricacies of the fucking criminal justice system, and these two are able to contradict themselves every single time they open their mouths, and the impression is that you're losing. That's the issue.
We always speak and we lecture like we're from the podium at Harvard Law School. So you won't get an argument from me. I will tell you that whether it's Macron or anybody in your government, Piers, or Vladimir Putin or anybody else, they have psychological profiles on Donald Trump, like we do on all other world leaders as well. And they understand exactly how to get what they want out of Donald Trump. And they know that flattery will get you everywhere with Donald Trump. All will be forgiven if you flatter him. Macron knows that well. That's why he engages the way he engages with him. That's why Putin engages the way he engages with him. That's why half of the people, like his own vice president, who thought he was basically the second coming of Adolf Hitler, and I'm not paraphrasing here, now know that if they bend the knee and if they flatter him, that all will be forgiven, and he will listen to them and he will take them into his confidence. And if you're Macron, you're in a country that is very dependent on America's NATO umbrella, if you're in a country that is trying to hold the EU together, if you're trying to hold a Western alliance together against an encroaching, newly aggressive Vladimir Putin, or maybe not so newly aggressive, you understand that the way to Trump's heart is to invite him to Notre Dame, to give him a seat pretty much next to Prince William or wherever he was sitting, and to make him the star of the show, because that is what Trump wants to do and wants to be. So this is not a surprise to me. It's a smart move by Macron to do that. It's a smart move by Xi to do that in China. Look, he all of a sudden went from threatening to nuke North Korea to becoming best friends with the North Koreans because the leader of North Korea decided to flatter him.
And what did North Korea?
Here.
Okay, but what did North Korea, China, or Russia do on Trump's watch in his first 4 years?
Well, North Korea continued to test their expansive ballistic missiles program. Russia continued to expand its war in the Donbass and tighten its grip on Crimea. And China, I don't know what, I'm sure China did something, I don't know. Continue to do their shit with the Uyghurs, I don't know. What do you think they did, Piers? What did they scale back on?
What did North Korea?
Nothing.
They don't have the foreign policy. No, it's okay. You can't know everything. You have to know every single conspiracy. It's so easy on the Piers and Republican side because you just basically make up like whatever the fuck you want. You can just say whatever you want. You can just say whatever the fuck you want. Wait, when did the whole Hong Kong shit and everything happen? Was that under Biden or was that under Trump? I don't even remember. The COVID fucked my mind. Was the Hong Kong stuff under Trump? Okay, well then that's all three. That's all three theaters that he's brought up. Oh, was it under Obama? Wait, Wicked Supreme said Obama 2014. I thought there was something else around COVID time that happened in Hong Kong, but I don't remember. I didn't follow it close enough.
Trump's watch in his first 4 years.
What did North Korea?
Nothing.
What did they do on Trump's watch?
What did they do?
Are you suggesting? Are you suggesting?
She doesn't have the answer. Now she's doing rhetoric, but. Also, again, notice how he's pushing for specifics here. It's only ever specifics on the liberal side. How did the Hong Kong stuff end? Didn't it end poorly for the Hong Kongians? I don't know. That's a real. I don't remember. I didn't follow this with any detail at all.
Well, they didn't need to do anything because,
I'm just saying, you're saying his
gets,
technique of actually having civil relations with these people is wrong.
It didn't work in any of these theaters. It didn't work anywhere. Oh, Russia expanded the war in Ukraine. Iran fucking bombed Saudi Arabia. Assad gassed his fucking citizens. The Palestinians fucking broke through the wall in the Gaza Strip. North Korea continued. Tillerson and Pence, I'm pretty sure, are both not on record, off record, like cursing out Trump for the North Korea negotiations. It's just failure after failure after failure. Donald Trump's foreign policy was a failure. There is no positive, like it was a failed foreign policy. The only win you could maybe try to carve out would be the Abraham Accords, and that's questionable at best.
North Korea,
damaging.
North Korea developed.
Where's the evidence it didn't work?
North Korea continued to develop missiles. China continued to develop its military
they did that under Biden.
for potential attack on
They did
Taiwan.
that under Biden.
Okay.
And
all under Biden.
Okay. Wait. Oh, wait. So then you're saying that Trump's foreign policy was just as good as Biden, right? Again, look at you can live in so many different worlds. It's got to be so freeing. Like I feel like when you become a Republican debater, it's this moment. No, it's not even the spoon thing. It's.
You think that's air you're breathing now?
True. You know what? It works, actually. But it's like when you're a conservative, you can just say or do or throw out literally anything at all points in time, right? Like, why would you say that this happened under Biden too, when the whole point is that Trump is supposed to be so much better than Biden? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Yeah.
But that's the point, isn't it? They've all carried on doing exactly the same under Biden, who has the complete opposite way and says they're all enemies. Let me bring in Vinny.
But you're
now
suggesting.
We just move to the next.
Go on. Go on, Julie.
Yeah. Piers.
Oh, now more from this dipshit who doesn't know anything about anything. These guys are all they don't know anything about anything. Like, none of these guys know any domestic or foreign policy. None of these guys know any foundational, anything. It's all good, though. All right, I'm sorry. It's a theater. It's a play. Okay. It's just a meme. It's a meme. All right, it's all memes.
You're suggesting.
Hang on, Vinny. Let Julie finish her point. I don't want to cut you off.
You're suggesting that if he doesn't pull out of NATO.
Do you really think knowing something makes you qualified to speak about it? True.
as he's said he might.
He was never going to pull out of NATO.
You're suggesting if he doesn't immediately.
He was never going to pull out. That's another Democrat load of bullshit.
Like, this is another thing, right? Hold on. Did he just say he was never going to pull out of NATO? Wait, if we know for a fact that he was never going to pull out of NATO, if you know for a fact he's never going to do the 1,000% tariffs, if you know for a fact he's never going to do these things, then how can he negotiate with them? If everybody knows that you're never going to do these things, then how are they negotiating tactics? You understand that that's self-defeating, right? These are contradictory positions.
Trump was never going to pull out of NATO.
Excuse me.
What he said was if NATO
if they don't pay their fair share, he will pull out of NATO.
I've interviewed him and talked to him privately about it. All he's ever said about NATO is he thinks the countries should pay their dues. And if they don't, why should America keep bailing them out?
What do you mean bailing them out? From what? What does he think the NATO dues are? For my understanding, I haven't dug into this. My understanding is the only thing NATO calls is that a certain percentage of your GDP goes towards your military funding. That's it. I don't think it's not like paid to America for defense. You don't like pay like protection services, but
given America pays the lion's share of the cost. And guess what?
For our military. We pay for our military. We pay for our military.
They're all paying their dues now.
What's going to happen?
They're all paying their dues.
What's going to happen? What is going to happen when he stops giving aid to Ukraine?
Although I will say, it's not even necessarily bad to pressure the NATO countries, though, to fund their militaries more. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. I think it's fine. But the problem is Trump's overall message on NATO, and then that's like being a part, like that part of it is just another,
You think Russia will do under Donald Trump?
I would not make any assumptions about what Trump is going to do to try and resolve the UK and Russia war.
Oh, cool. Wow, the UK and Russia war. UK or Ukraine? Got him.
Make any assumptions about what Trump is going to do to try and resolve the UK and Russia war. I talked to him last week about this, and I would not make any assumptions at all. People who think he's just going to give Putin everything he wants are living in cloud cuckoo land, I can tell you. Well, let's wait and see. I always think with Trump, with Trump, much better to judge him on his actions than what he says. Vinny.
Or what you think he's going to do.
I think it's very, very difficult. Honestly, Andrew, I think it's an incredibly difficult thing to resolve. But
how can you even support a guy then if you don't even know what he's going to do? Like, what are you actually voting for? The face paint?
Do not think he's going to make one of the first things he does as president again to give Vladimir Putin a massive win. I just don't think it's going to happen. So how he navigates a settlement where that doesn't look like it's the story.
But why? But we have history on this. Didn't Donald Trump give the Taliban a massive win in Afghanistan? Isn't that explicitly what he negotiated? A full U.S. surrender and retreat? So why would we assume that he wouldn't do the same elsewhere? What's your basis for comparison?
Is going to be complicated, but I'm sure Trump is not going to want a Russian dictator to be throwing his hands up going, victory. I just don't see it. Vinny. Let me end with you here.
Piers, here's my thing. The delusion of these leftists that Donald Trump, I'm going back to the beginning.
Oh boy, here comes more vague, unsubstantiated claims that's just alluding to broad feelings and vibes. Oh boy, this guy.
Of your question, isn't popular. Have you, the freaking Trump dance is all over the world. Yeah. Athletes all over, soccer players, football players. The guy is the most popular guy on the planet, hands down, period. And I'm telling you, Julie, I respect you, but you guys, I'm telling you right now, you guys have to start changing your tune. This fear porn of Donald Trump, you're losing. CNN is losing. MSNBC, Joyless Reed, they're done. If you guys don't start changing your freaking tune, you're going to be out of work. America has spoken. They want a freaking leader that goes to France and almost rips off Macron's arm. That's who we are. We're tough. Joe Biden would have been taking a nap.
The only thing, Vinny,
we need freaking somebody that has the balls to go talk shit.
Vinny,
nobody's believing your fear porn.
Vinny, the only sadness for me is that so far you have not been appointed the White House press secretary, because watching you at the podium every day would be one of the greatest things that I would ever watch.
It's like Piers, a Facebook comment section.
And I would do it, and I would mention your name. I would mention your name every single time I was there, Piers.
Thank you, Vinny. Another reason that you should get the job. Thank you to my panel. I appreciate it. These debates will run and run, but thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much.